7 games on slate tonight. We have Jordan Sharp on with us. We're going to go ahead and talk about the games. Jordan, how you doing?
Kicking the NBA season here recently, and there's a lot of good games on tap tonight here. I'm interested to hear your thoughts as well. I think I have a couple of really good plays. Some of these later games are really intriguing tonight here on a Monday evening.
The one game that's on slate tonight that really has my interest is the Minnesota Timberwolves at home hosting the Portland Trailblazers. You have any thoughts on that game?
Yeah, I do. The line's actually dropped a little bit since it opened up last night, it looks like. And at first, I was really surprised, I think, to see the Wolves as big of a favorite as they were, but it has dropped just a little bit. So it looks like some people had some of the similar thoughts as me. It's down to 5 now after it was up from 5.5, and I'm leaning towards the Portland Trailblazers in this one, actually, believe it or not. What are your thoughts on it?
Okay, well, that is interesting. Portland, lost 4 of its starters last year. Damian Lillard remains the only one left. Obviously, it's going to take time to put the pieces together. I am also kind of surprised at what's happening with Minnesota. They got 3 veteran guys, Tayshaun Prince, Kevin Garnett, and Ricky Rubio. And you couple that up with Andrew Wiggins and then this Towns from Kentucky. This team is playing with a lot of emotion, but the reason I really like this, and I think the line is way too low, they're going to do a video tribute before the game tonight for former coach and president of the team, Flip Saunders, who was Kevin Garnett's. I mean, they were very close. I think emotion plays a huge part in this game tonight, Jordan.
That's a good narrative. I didn't know that at first, but I just want to give you my Portland pitch here really quick, because I think what a lot of people see in this team is, they see Andrew Wiggins, they see the great young talent of Towns and how much the kid looks like he's going to be an all-star game, on the part of the all-star game this year. I look at Minnesota, and they're a really good young team, yes, but I think they're still a young team that might struggle to score at times. Is it going to be tonight against Portland? No. But I do think Portland is good enough with Damian Lillard, who I still believe will be the best player on the floor tonight. And the way C.J. McCollum's come on as that second scoring option, and they have at least some solid defenders down there with Plumlee and Aminu. I don't think it's going to be as easy as you think for the Minnesota Timberwolves tonight. I think that, I think 5 may just be a bit too high. I'd be a little concerned about laying the points tonight. I get where you're coming from. I just think that the value you're going to get from Minnesota, even though I think they are 2-0 against the spread so far, they've definitely been undervalued by the Sportsbook. I think the value you're going to get with Minnesota may be down the road just a little bit. I think Lillard, Ricky Rubio is not going to have any answers for Damian Lillard tonight. And if that's the case, I think Portland can keep it close. I may be wrong. I may be a little overvaluing Portland here.
No,
I just think that the
Jordan,
line maybe
I don't mean to cut you off, but I agree with what you're saying, and I want to emphasize also that I like the early first half play on this because of the emotion. I think the emotion might start to wear off a little in the second half. But I think just coming off of that video tribute and the success that they've already had, I think that's going to carry into the first half. But in the second half, I think you might see that starting to wear off a bit.
I would definitely endorse a first half play on Minnesota in this one. I agree. I just think that Portland is just a little bit better than what the books are giving them credit for right now.
Sure. Absolutely. Another game that's very interesting, obviously, is the Oklahoma City Thunder tonight. What are your thoughts on that ball game?
Good luck, Houston, trying to stop that Oklahoma City team. The line, is Dwight Howard going to play? Has that been confirmed? I knew he came back.
Yeah, he's supposed to be playing tonight because he didn't play last night.
He didn't play last night, so he's good to go tonight. So at least they'll have arrested Dwight Howard, so that takes away a little bit from it. But man, this is going to be an up and down game. These two teams love to get up and down. The total is probably a little more intriguing to me than the spread in this one, because I think as we even early in the season here, where defense normally is a little bit better than offense, I think the offense might be a lot tonight. These two teams real fast-paced. What do you think about that?
I agree, and if I'm correct, I think that total opened up at 215, might have dropped down to 214.5. But yeah, this could be a track meet, like you said, up and down the floor. I just really think Durant's playing with a chip on his shoulder that hasn't been there before. Houston, I'm just not a big Dwight Howard fan, and I'm wondering how long it's going to take before Harden and Howard have their differences, similar to when Kobe and Howard were in L.A. But yeah, I do 100% agree with you. This could be a track meet up and down the floor.
Yeah, I think the spread's a no-go for me tonight, but the total is so intriguing. There's a couple other games that I think have some overvalue tonight too. I mean, that being the highest total game, though, I mean, it just looks way too juicy as a team where you have 2 teams that are top 10 in pace right now.
Absolutely, couldn't agree with you more. I don't really. have a feel yet for, I mean, we're a week into the season, so it's kind of hard to just get a total feel. But there's one team that I really think is just catching the interest of everybody right now, and I think it's all because of just how solid they are, and that's Golden State without their head coach. What are your thoughts on that team?
I think the Warriors, they may have a little bit of a championship hangover, but Stephen Curry is going for, he wants to join the back-to-back MVP club, and that is an exclusive club. Magic, Jordan, Tim Duncan, I believe, is a member of that club, LeBron. Mm-hmm. There's not that many other guys in that club, and he's playing like he wants to just take this team, and even maybe the rest of maybe it's just the rest of his team that's got a championship hangover. And Curry's just kind of lead him through, because the rest of that team really hasn't played up to par yet. I think Draymond Green's finally getting it together, but I'm not quite sold on the Warriors just because I think the West is still really, really good. And tonight, 8.5 against an underperforming Memphis team. Yeah. This could be the game where Memphis kind of comes in and shows up like the Memphis Grizzlies we expect, but they're kind of that team that I just can't peg. I can't tell if they're in that top tier of the Western Conference, or if they're kind of a tier by themselves, or they're like a very low tier in the Western Conference. Yeah. They're kind of a team that I can't quite trust yet. So I think that game's kind of a no bet for me on either spread or total tonight. But man, the Warriors, I think that they think they'll get it together soon, though.
And I agree totally with Memphis. I've had that same feeling for 3 seasons in a row now. It's like, what team's going to show up tonight? Mm-hmm. And sometimes they start off real slow, and then when you expect them to start off slow, they're just putting up 35 points in a quarter. So I couldn't agree with you more. The talent's there. It's going to be anxious to see how they play out this year, but I agree, and I'm staying off that one completely as well.
Yeah, now the other game at 10:30, I want to hear your thoughts first. What do you think about Phoenix and LA tonight here at Clips come in as a 9-point favorite, total around 210.5.
Yeah. I like this Clippers team and what they did offseason, Jordan, just loading up that already deep bench. It's just wearing teams out, and that's going to be obvious as the season goes on. Phoenix, I'm a little surprised in how slow they're starting. I love this coach, and I've loved him for a long time. He was a great ball player. But I think they're just in a different league. I would probably tend to lean towards the full game with the Clippers. Haven't made that decision. Probably might not even put anything on this. But yeah, I think you have 2 teams that are in 2 different leagues right now, and that's my personal opinion.
I like the total in Oklahoma City and Houston. Yeah. This total's about 3 points less, and I think it's an even better bet tonight. These 2 teams are both top 10 in pace, and the Clippers are pretty much in another world offensively right now with the way Blake Griffin's playing, and Phoenix has absolutely no answer for him. I like Tyson Chandler. I think he is going to improve this Phoenix Suns team a lot, and if you watch their game, I think Saturday night, they actually looked really good. Brandon Knight and Eric Bledsoe absolutely dominated, and that's where I think the over comes into play for this one tonight. It's at around 210 and a hook. You're looking at 2 teams that are going to play fast, who both don't like playing a whole lot of defense, and both have a lot of offensive mismatches at a lot of different positions. The Clippers being, I think, with Blake Griffin, and I think the Suns have the edge slightly in the backcourt with Knight and Bledsoe against Chris Paul and J.J. Redick here, or Lance Stevenson, whoever they decide to throw at those 2 guys. I think there could be a lot of points scored in this one. Clippers, last 2 games at home against Phoenix, they dropped about 120 a game.
Yeah, and I like also what you say about Knight and Bledsoe, and they're just starting to mesh and to learn.
Yeah.
I think halfway through the season, you might see a Memphis offense, because of that backcourt, that's going to be better prepared for the playoff run this year. That was a great acquisition with Brandon Knight.
Yeah, and the fact that he re-signed with them, I think, is telling, because that kid's got a lot of talent, and I don't think that you got to see every bit of it in Milwaukee, because of before he was kind of still finding his way, and then once Jason Kidd got in, he really had that breakout year before he got traded. He was still kind of on a leash, you know what I mean? Yeah. He's free to roam, him and Bledsoe in this offense, and you saw the other night how deadly they can be. And Chris Paul, I love the guy. He's still a really good defender. He's not the defender he was 5 years ago, though, and he's up against 2 guys that are a lot quicker than him tonight. So I think there could be some points scored in that one for sure.
Yeah, I agree also, and I think Milwaukee's kicking themselves in the ass for letting Brandon Knight go, and Milwaukee right now at 0-3 is turning around looking for answers, and that's a move that might just really end up kicking them in the ass.
It's funny you mentioned Milwaukee, because they are a point dog in Brooklyn tonight at 0-3 against the spread and straight up, I think. And I think this could be a good chance for them to turn it around tonight. I'm not quite sure if I'm ready to endorse and make that official.
Yeah.
But, Brooklyn's bad. And the only thing that Milwaukee really hasn't, their offense has been a little slow. Jabari Parker's still not back yet. They had to miss Antetokounmpo for the first game because of body slamming Mike Dunleavy in the playoffs last year.
That. Yeah.
So they might be in a spot to turn it around tonight, but their defense has been atrocious to start the season. They're last in defensive efficiency through 3 games. I mean, like that, they were great defensively last year, and I mean they're completely trash right now. I don't know if that's Greg Monroe. What do you think that is?
Yeah, you know what it might be. It might be the addition of Greg Monroe. And again, when you're bringing different players in, you have to mesh. But I think that is. I don't know that Greg Monroe's as strong as a defender as people might think. But anxious to see how that plays out. I don't know. I'm not sold on Jason Kidd as a coach yet either. I think he more or less had the talent that took him where they went last year. I don't necessarily think it was because of coaching. So, again, going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But I'm staying off of that one completely. I have a motto that I try not to bet bad teams. And right now, these 2 teams are bad at this point. Obviously, it's going to change. We're not deep into the season, but that's my thoughts on that.
So one last game I want to get your thoughts on as well is a game that I have some interest in tonight, but it's not from where you'd think it is. But the Spurs are only a 7-point favorite in New York tonight. Now, they are coming off the back-to-back. They're in Boston. That's not too bad of a trip early in the season. We're still young in the season. Obviously, people get scared off of the Spurs on back-to-back, so that's probably why this line's low. But the total has shrunk about 3 points, and I put it out there last night that I think the total was way too high, and it has definitely followed suit. This could be a really slow down, kind of grinded out game where both teams are kind of in the low 90s. Do you think there's any value on either the Spurs tonight or the under, or am I just imagining things?
No, I don't think you're imagining. And again, I'll stress it. I'm not a big totals guy, but it does catch my attention. And I think I agree 100%. I think it's going to be a slowed down game. And in the 90s, if I had to lean, I would definitely say take the under. I would, but I'm staying off the sides. I don't know what's happening with New York. I like what I'm seeing in the first couple days. San Antonio, again, they're making some adjustments, and they start out slow typically, but I really like the way you're breaking this down on the under. So if I had to lean, that would be the way I would lean. And I'm going to be watching these 2 teams closely, especially through the first half of the season, to see how they start to gel and start to really build on that roster.
Well, I mean, like let's just take the Knicks for instance. Like, do you think they're a play to make the playoffs right now, or do you think that they're still kind of 1 player away, which is where I think they are?
I think they're definitely 1 player away, and you have that Carmelo Anthony injury factor. The guy's beat his body up through the years, and he's starting out sharp. He looks good, but yeah, I think they're 1 player away, and if he can stay healthy, I think they may be a threat down the road, but that is yet to be seen.
2 years ago, when the year before the Knicks were horrible here last year, and I think they made the playoffs. They won, was it 50 games or something? Was that 3 years ago?
No, it was 2 years ago.
I mean, anybody who knows anything about NBA betting knows that the Knicks are normally a team that are overvalued on any given night, and they're not a great ATS bet just because, let's just be honest, New Yorkers overvalue everything New York. This year, could this be the year coming off that awful year where they're kind of like they were 2 years ago, where they surprise a lot of people early on and they're a great ATS bet?
Could be. And again, I'm not sold on that, but it's definitely possible.